At the age of 10, a favor-seeking system appeared in my mind. It told me I was a fake heiress, and at 22, the real heiress would return to take everything from me. I would be driven out of the wealthy family and freeze to death on the streets. Terrified, I cried and told my family everything. They immediately arranged a paternity test. I really was the fake one, but for 12 years, we searched and searched. Yet we couldn't find the real heiress until she finally appeared when I was 22 years old. But what I waited for was not expulsion. My name is Fu Huixi, the cherished daughter the Fu family has raised for 22 years, with only one younger brother beneath me. No, I have only one younger brother. On my 10th birthday, a cold, mechanical voice abruptly exploded in my mind without warning. Favor competition system successfully bound. Warning, host is the fake daughter of the Fu family. True identity is an ordinary family baby girl maliciously swapped at birth. At age 22, the true daughter will return to the Fu family and receive all the affection. Host will be expelled from the family, left to wander the streets, suffer endless humiliation, and ultimately freeze to death under a bridge on the night of her 25th birthday. It went on to say something about how competing for favor could change fate and the like. But I didn't listen to the rest. Having been doted on by my grandfather and spoiled by my parents since childhood, how could I possibly endure this? I burst into tears with a loud wah, rushing barefoot from my second-floor room, stumbling all the way into the living room. Grandfather was reading the newspaper, my parents were discussing summer vacation destinations, and my younger brother, Fu Huixio, was playing with his toys nearby. I dashed up to my parents, crying so hard I could barely catch my breath. I am not your daughter. I have to go find my own mom and dad. Goodbye, Mom and Dad. Tonight I'm sailing far away. Goodbye, Grandpa. 8-year-old Fu Huixio reacted the fastest, raising his toy truck with sparkling eyes. Sister, ride in my car. My usually unreliable parents successfully had their brains short-circuit for a full half-minute. My mother was the first to snap out of it. She pulled me into her arms, her voice trembling. Sweetheart, who's been feeding you such nonsense? Tell me, and I'll go tear their mouth apart. My father's face turned ashen. He grabbed his phone, ready to check the surveillance footage. Only my grandfather set down his newspaper and looked at me for a moment, then he picked up the landline, his voice steady. Have Dr. Zhang come over, collect samples and expedite a paternity test. The whole family will take it. After finishing all this, he pulled me out of my mother's embrace and wiped away my tears with his rough palm. Cece, tell Grandpa, why did you suddenly say that? I sobbed and confessed everything in detail. The system that suddenly appeared in my mind said I was a fake. The system said the real daughter would return at 22. The system said I would be driven out, that I would die. With each word, my parents' faces grew paler, but Grandpa just nodded and patted my head. Good child, don't cry, wait for the results. The next afternoon, the paternity test report was delivered into Grandpa's hands. I really am not Mom and Dad's biological child. Mom covered her mouth and sobbed, while Dad sighed helplessly. Huixio tightly grabbed the hem of my clothes and whispered, Sister, do you really have to leave? Grandpa put down the report, then looked up at me and said, Cece, come here. I walked over. Back then when the switch happened, you were just a baby in swaddling clothes, unable to make any decisions. The fault is not yours, but the Fu family's real child has been drifting outside, likely suffering many hardships. Everything you possess now should rightfully belong to her. So whether you stay or go can only be decided by her when she returns. The Fu family can guarantee that, at the very least, we will support you until you turn 18. Before you leave, we will provide you with the best life and the best education, so that even if you are alone in the future, you can live well. Any pocket money or gifts you receive before leaving the Fu family will be yours to keep. The Fu family does not mistreat children. I nodded vigorously. From that day on, I firmly remembered two things. First, I am the fake daughter of the Fu family. Second, at the age of 22, the real daughter will arrive. The search for the real daughter was immediately set in motion. Strangely, despite the Fu family's capabilities, they were unable to find any trace of her. My mother gave birth at a private hospital under the Fu family's control, staying in a top-tier suite with dedicated care, yet the child was still switched. The Fu family obtained the records of all mothers who gave birth during the same period and cross-checked them one by one, but none of the households were the ones raising their real daughter. Some might ask, don't wealthy families undergo annual checkups? How could they have never noticed something was wrong? I can only say, what normal family would take their child for a paternity test every year? At the time the real heiress was born, a paternity test was conducted, and the sample was later stored in the database, and I was swapped into the incubator only after that test sample had been taken away. What's more, my blood type was exactly the same as hers, and so, for 10 years, everything remained calm and uneventful until the system arrived. As for the favor competition system, in my mind, it was thoroughly studied as well. Its only function is to prompt me on how to gain favor points from my family members, and it can display their emotional states and potential needs in real time. For example, my father secretly wants a calligraphy and painting piece treasured by my grandfather as a birthday gift. My mother has her eye on a certain jewelry store's prized piece but is too embarrassed to ask for it. I have a reasonable suspicion that these two made up their stories on the spot after hearing about my system's abilities. They're all good things, but I'm powerless to help at the moment. The one who finds this system most useful is my 2-year younger brother, Fu Huaxiu. Every time he makes a mistake, he comes to me to determine the right timing for apologizing. Actually, I think he's overthinking it. From what I've learned over the years, there's no need to find the perfect moment to apologize to our parents. They can handle it, and they always forgive, although they've never been able to keep anything under wraps. And when a mistake needs to be brought before Grandpa, there's never a good time for it, because Grandpa has a set of family rules for us. Every mistake has its corresponding punishment. In this household, Grandpa is the undisputed patriarch whose word is law. He decided to find the real heiress. So the Fu family mobilized all their resources to search, but they simply couldn't find her. Year after year passed, with the system's warning hanging over their heads like the sword of Damocles. But I won't just wait for death. I wasn't particularly bright when it came to studying. No matter how hard I tried, my grades always hovered around the middle of the pack. So when I turned 18 in my senior year of high school, I decided to take the art school entrance exams. From what I knew of my family, even if I left the Fu household in the future, with the lingering goodwill of being a Fu family foster daughter, it shouldn't be too hard to make a living in the industry. Starting in my sophomore year of college, I took advantage of the Fu family's lingering influence that hadn't yet abandoned me, taking on minor roles like 4th or 5th female leads to gain experience and save money. Life went on as usual, with the only unexpected element being Fu Huaxiu. Genetic inheritance is like a lottery ticket, and for Grandpa, Dad, and Huaxiu were proof of his bad luck. But Huaxiu was at least a step above Dad. Since childhood, his academic performance had been better than mine, although he still didn't meet Grandpa's standards. Getting into a top-tier university was no problem for him. My dad had already proven with his abilities that he couldn't hold on to the family business. So Grandpa's entire hope now rested on Huaxiu. In the end, Fu Huaxiu went off without a word to join a talent show, and somehow, with no foundation at all, he managed to debut. This world really does judge by looks. The day he came home with his newly dyed silver hair and a full face of stage makeup, his grandfather grabbed his cane and swung it at him. His parents stood by, not daring to make a sound. I only dared to whisper a gentle reminder, "Grandfather, please don't get too angry, you might harm your health." Punishing Huaxiu doesn't have to be done today. He'll be home for the next couple of days. Please take it easy, Grandpa. Maybe we should let Dad handle this heavy lifting. Fu Huaxiu howled in pain while giving me a look of utter betrayal. I silently turned my head away. Sorry, little brother, but I also hope you can inherit the family business. No matter how carefree I may sound, I still have my own selfish motives. The true heiress's temperament is unknown, and if I ever have to leave the Fu family in the future, it would definitely be more advantageous for me if Huaxiu were in power. Unfortunately, that beating didn't wake him up. Before returning home, he had already signed with a company and plunged headfirst into the entertainment industry, becoming a singing and dancing idol. And so, with constant anxiety yet following the routine step by step, I turned 22. The time announced by the system has arrived. The true heiress was found on an ordinary spring afternoon. As for how she was found, I didn't ask for the details. I only know that back then, she was carried out of the private hospital by a bribed doctor and handed over to another group of people in the parking lot of the neighboring public hospital. My biological parents were purely victims of a senseless disaster. I was chosen only because my blood type matched that of the real heiress, and as an infant, my appearance bore some resemblance to hers. Back then, mobile phone numbers and bank cards were not strictly regulated, so the Fu family's investigation hit a dead end at these numbers. Unable to trace the mastermind behind it all, the paternity test results and her documents were delivered to the Fu family on the same day. After reading the real heiress's file, my first thought was that someone had stolen Grandpa's genetic lottery ticket. The real heiress is now named Lin Yun. Before the age of 13, she was the apple of my biological parents' eye. At 13, when my biological parents died in a car accident, she was supposed to go to an orphanage, but at just 13, she was admitted to the Gifted Youth program at Capital University. From then on, her life seemed to be on a winning streak. She went straight from undergraduate to a PhD, held multiple patents, and had already participated in national key projects before even graduating. When the Fu family found her, she had just completed her PhD, and was holding an offer from a top research institute. As for me, after 2 years of struggling in the entertainment industry, I barely managed to earn some pocket money. Fu Huaishou was even worse off, still working for a company to pay off his debts. Compared to her, Huaishou and I are just here to make up the numbers in this world. Sis, Fu Huaishou rushed over, his eyes gleaming. Grandpa's heir is back, we're free. I stumbled from his impact, but the unease in my heart only grew clearer. But then again, a genius and prodigy of the true heiress's caliber, how vast must her vision be? Would she even bother troubling a weakling like me? My heart settled back into my stomach a little, until the real heiress herself stepped through the Fu family's front door. The day she arrived, Grandpa wasn't home. He had an urgent meeting at the company. She wore a simple white t-shirt and jeans, dragging a 20-inch suitcase behind her as the housekeeper led her inside, calm as if she were returning to her own dorm room. Mom, Dad, me, and Huaishou, the four of us stood in a row, so nervous we didn't know where to put our hands and feet. She first gave a slight nod to my parents. Uncle, Auntie, then her gaze turned to me and Huaishou, looking us up and down. Here it comes. My heart pounded like a drum, the moment of judgment I had waited 12 years for. You must be Fu Huaixi and Fu Huaishou. Yes, yes, hello, sister. I quickly nodded and bowed. Huaishou also followed with a greeting of, sister. She nodded, her tone flat and unruffled. I am Lin Yun. Without waiting for us to exchange pleasantries, she continued, her voice clear and calm. Before returning, I reviewed the Fu family's information and gained some preliminary understanding of you all. But it's not enough. My palms began to sweat. The moment of fate's convergence was finally about to yield an outcome. Thinking of her extraordinary resume, I had already mentally rehearsed my posture of surrender and the list of belongings I'd need to pack. Then I heard her say, I had already been confirmed to join a classified project, and my political vetting had passed, but because of a sudden addition of a direct relative, my materials were sent back for re-evaluation. I came back to see with my own eyes whether this family would hold me back. It took me 3 seconds to grasp the meaning of those words. The political review hasn't even started yet, and she's already here to conduct a preliminary assessment of the family. If everything's fine, then everyone's happy. Is there a problem? You should know, I was raised by the state. My personal record is spotless. She paused, her gaze sweeping over each of us. There was no emotion in her eyes, yet it sent a chill down our spines. But if there's an issue with my family background, I can only solve the problem itself. My mind went blank with a sudden boom. The system said I would be driven out of the Fu family, left to wander the streets, and suffer humiliation. Could it be that it wasn't because the real heiress couldn't tolerate me, but because the Fu family did something they shouldn't have, and this ancestor of theirs decided to uphold justice by cutting ties, dragging me down with them? That's even worse than being kicked out of the family. For the next few days, I lived in fear. Fortunately, although the Fu family were evil capitalists, my grandfather ran the household with strict discipline and never engaged in any illegal or unethical activities. The real heiress, now renamed Fu Yun, was taken by my grandfather to audit the core departments of the group for a week. When she emerged, she nodded and declared, no issues. I breathed a long sigh of relief. Fu Huaishou, however, wore a woeful expression as he leaned in. You may be safe, but it seems my sister has no intention of inheriting the family business at all. I shot him a glance. This kid probably wishes the true heiress would kick me out, so he can smoothly take over the family business. Right? Ugh, the wretched true young master. Fu Yun truly had no intention of taking over the family business. But just as I let my guard down and prepared to take on a new script, the next piece of bad news had already arrived. At the family meeting. Fu Yun set down his teacup. His voice was not loud, yet it instantly silenced the entire living room. My project has been postponed for a year due to unforeseen circumstances. During this year, as a member of the Fu family, I should contribute to the family's affairs. I've discussed it with Grandpa. The heir will be chosen between Huixi and Huixiu. The selection of the heir is my responsibility. Both Fu Huixiu and I froze. You've enjoyed the Fu family's resources for over 20 years. It's only right that you take on the responsibility. After Fu Yun finished speaking, Grandpa nodded beside him. Mom and Dad sat upright, like two elementary school students listening attentively. Huixiu and I exchanged a glance, seeing the same horror in each other's eyes. The next second, we sprang apart, mutually disgusted. From today on, we are competitors in this family. Only one unlucky soul is needed to inherit the family business. The selection method is simple. All of you are currently in the entertainment industry. Over the next year, I will conduct a comprehensive evaluation based on factors such as the quantity and quality of your work, commercial value, and industry reputation. The one with the lower score will be deemed unsuitable for a career in the entertainment industry and will return home to inherit the family business. I looked at my grandfather. He actually nodded again, showing no objection to this absurd selection method. Is this reasonable? Is this scientific? There's no time to think deeply now. I signed on for a supporting role in a period drama at lightning speed, packed my bags overnight, and fled to Hengdian. Before leaving, I caught a glimpse of Fu Huixiu discussing an S-tier variety show. I had my assistant quietly inquire to see if we could snatch the opportunity. Sorry, little brother. The waters of the entertainment industry run too deep. Your big sister is doing this for your own good. Afraid you won't be able to handle it. Unfortunately, my words carried little weight, and my attempt to intercept the opportunity failed. I had no choice but to give it my all. Over the next 6 months, I immersed myself in the film set, diligently completing a period drama, then made guest appearances in 2 neighboring productions and participated in 2 variety shows to promote a project I had filmed the previous year. I was taken by Fu Yun to pay respects at the graves of my biological parents, sleeping only 4 or 5 hours a day. I was so busy that my feet barely touched the ground, leaving no time to carefully consider the loopholes in this competition until one rare day off. As I lay collapsed on the sofa at home, a sudden flash of insight struck me. Wait a minute, I'm the fake heiress. How could I possibly be qualified to inherit the Fu family business? The successor must be Fu Huixiu. I sprang up from the sofa and scrambled into the study. At that moment, Fu Yun was reading an academic journal. I threw myself forward, wrapping my arms around her leg. Sister, please see reason. The Fu family's estate must be inherited by Fu bloodline. I am an outsider. I would never dare to covet it. Fu Yun looked down at me, her eyes filled with utter disdain. Have you been filming a period drama lately? So old-fashioned, she asked. I played a concubine. I maintained my leg-hugging posture and made an orchid-finger gesture. Fu Yun closed the journal and said unhurriedly, the Fu family has already established a family foundation. All assets have been transferred to the foundation and are managed by a professional team. The so-called heir is merely a position, drawing a salary. Of course, it also entails being the principal manager of the foundation. My mind was exceptionally sharp today, and I understood instantly. I realized that the Fu family heir is essentially a super employee, one level above a high-level employee. Fu Yun doesn't care whether this employee is of Fu bloodline. He only requires that this person won't harm the Fu family or squander the family fortune. But I think, even if I have a moment of clarity, I'm absolutely not up to such a heavy responsibility. Sister, do I look like someone who could be an heir? I tried to widen my eyes, appearing even more innocent. Fu Yun fell silent for 2 seconds. It's fine, the specific tasks are handled by a professional team. An heir only needs to be able to understand analysis reports and know how to maintain balance. You may not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but with some training, you'll be able to tell a good report from a bad one. The art of checks and balances. Grandpa is still here. If you follow and learn for 10 years, you'll master it eventually. My brain couldn't convince hers. In a mix of sorrow and indignation, I decided to stay in Hengdian for the rest of the year and not come back. I'm determined to win this battle for the heir position. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to leave. An even more horrifying turn of events occurred. I heard the voice of another system. Ever since I confirmed that my favor competition system was utterly useless except as a wishing well for my parents, I had treated it as background noise. However, after my sister returned, the system appeared more and more frequently. I can't block the system, so from time to time I hear the announcement of my successful bid for favor. Ever since my sister returned home, my parents' affection for me has skyrocketed, seeing me as their forever little snuggle bug. Heaven and earth bear witness, I haven't played any tricks on Fu Yun. Naturally, my parents loved the sister they worked so hard to bring back, but as they spent more time together, they found it impossible to develop any affectionate feelings for their sister. Instead, their awe of her only grew deeper. Not long after her return, she convinced Grandpa to completely overhaul the way the family's allowance was distributed. Now, the Fu family's allowance came with strict performance requirements and a penalty system for deductions. Before she came back, under the shelter of Grandpa, the patriarch of the family, all four of us, every single one, were nothing but pampered, useless heirs of a wealthy household, simply waiting each day for our allowance to be handed out. After she returned, Mom and Dad would go out every day to exercise and attend hobby classes. In short, they couldn't just idle around at home, eating and waiting to die. Ahem, I've digressed. Look at my brain, always straying off topic. In short, I discovered a new system. This matter has to start from Grandpa's birthday banquet. Ever since my sister returned home, Grandpa has wanted to hold a recognition banquet for her, but my sister said that she would soon be leaving to participate in a research project, and the earliest she would return home would be 10 years later. Making it widely known wouldn't be a good thing for her. The matter was then dropped. However, Grandpa's birthday party was different, since it wasn't a major milestone. It wouldn't be a grand celebration. Only those with connections to the Fu family would be invited. This was also a perfect opportunity to introduce to these people that the Fu family now had 2 daughters. Some of Grandpa's close friends pulled him aside and whispered, "Old Fu, it's a joyous occasion to have the child back, but you must first clarify the family assets to avoid future disputes." From ancient times to the present, the greatest fear has always been internal strife. Grandfather chuckled, not hiding anything. It's already decided. The successor will be chosen between Huaixi and Huaxiu. Yunyun has no interest in this. She has more important matters to attend to. Others simply thought Grandfather looked down on the true granddaughter who had been living outside the family, sighing with regret. Only we knew that it was sister who looked down on the Fu family. She feared the Fu family would hinder her from serving the country if my sister said she was willing to take over the family business. Grandpa could transfer all the official seals and shares overnight, but the Fu family had never raised her for a single day, so Grandpa couldn't bring himself to ask. He could only let her soar freely. Just as someone whispered, "How could a fake heiress have any right to inherit?" Grandpa's voice, steady and clear, echoed through the small hall. "Huaixi is a child raised by our Fu family, though there's no blood tie. There is a bond of kinship. Naturally, she has the right to inherit." The moment the words fell, a cold, mechanical voice, identical to the favor competition system, echoed in my mind. Key character, Fu Yun's fate line deviation detected. Original, Fu family heir, status lost. Host gains points, 100. Immediately after, the frantic inner voice of a young man pierced into my thoughts without any barrier. Only 100 points. That's worth just 10,000 bucks. I made Fu Yun lose her position as the Fu family heir. She was supposed to be the undisputed successor. That kind of status drop should be worth at least 1,000,000 points. Damn it, Fu Yun's inability to become the heir is the result of the host using points after rebirth to swap him at birth. Moreover, Fu Yun's current fortune is more prosperous than it was at the same time in his previous life. Earning 100 points is based on the established fact that the Fu family lost Fu Yun, an outstanding heir. However, Fu Yun will still support the Fu family behind the scenes in the future, so the impact on the Fu family's overall fortune is limited. After hearing this, I burst into a storm of tears in my heart. He is too great. He exchanged the Fu family's sky-high lottery ticket for the country, leaving Grandpa to sigh and lament over Huai Xiao and me for the past 20 years. I'm crying my heart out. Before I could finish crying, I realized that person was heading straight for me. How could it not be a big deal? Their family has already given that imposter inheritance rights. If I can win her over, I can use her to get the Fu family. It wasn't in vain that I spent my last points back then to exchange for a system for her. I was speechless. Imposter, me, take me down, control the Fu family, no way. I just want to receive my monthly allowance. I don't want to inherit the family business. I'm working my butt off filming now, both making money and hitting my targets to get the highest allowance from the Fu family. Life is sweet. My parents are so jealous they could cry. To avoid becoming a tool for others to control the Fu family, as soon as I returned home, I once again threw myself at the family's intellectual pinnacle. Sister, I must report this. Someone intends to use me to bring chaos to the Fu family. I am not up to the task. I beg you to revoke your order. Woo woo. I clung to my sister's leg and began to wail. Sister was speechless. I read a deep sense of helplessness in her silence, but I still insisted on telling her everything I had heard, word for word. She sighed and called a family meeting. That was when I learned that not long after my sister returned home, Grandpa had already told her about the system within me. Grandpa is old and didn't think much of it, but my sister is quick-witted and immediately connected the baby switching case from back then with the strange functions of my system. The only purpose of my system seems to be guiding me to compete for favor with the real heiress. My sister speculated that this system is most likely a tool used by the mastermind behind the scenes to stir up trouble in the Fu family. Hearing this, I timidly raised my hand. That system is indeed the other party's doing, but I found that the favorability halo from my system seems to be real. My sister glanced at me. I shut my mouth. In short, without my favor-seeking system, Fu Yun wouldn't have started thinking in such absurd directions as reincarnation, transmigrating into a book, or foreseeing the future. But since the system exists, anything is possible. She suspects that the other party's target is her. Otherwise, why not replace Fu Huaishou, who appears to have a stronger claim to inheritance in an ordinary family? Surely he doesn't think that with my sister gone from the Fu family, he can just swoop in and take her place. Fu Huaishou wore an expression of utter disbelief, having heard both the system and the man's inner thoughts. I nodded frantically in agreement. I can't comprehend it. Fu Huaishou frowned. To try and understand the actions of fools, you must first lower your intelligence to their level, Fu Yun said calmly. It's a good thing you can't understand. I can understand. I raised my hand again under the gaze of the whole family. I quickly added, let me clarify first. I'm not on the same level as that idiot. I believe you. My sister nodded solemnly. I don't think she believed me, but I still have to say, from what I've heard, he's reborn. That means he must have been completely crushed by my sister in his previous life, which is why he's so determined to replace her. Fu Huaishou was puzzled. Even if there's no sister at home, there's still me, isn't there? I felt like he was insulting my sister's intelligence by saying that, so I patted his head sympathetically. There, don't flatter yourself. In short, according to Grandpa and Sister's plan, tonight's birthday banquet is also a setup, aimed at drawing out the person behind the scenes, as long as that person has designs on the Fu family and was capable of orchestrating the child-swapping incident back then. Upon hearing that I also have inheritance rights, they will likely be unable to resist and will actively approach me. That person's words to the system also confirm this, but I've thought one step further than they have. With that man's level of intelligence, the only way he could have thought of to seize the Fu family in his previous life was probably pursue Fu Yun, become the Fu family's son-in-law, and then slowly plot his way in. Unfortunately, he never stood a chance of catching Fu Yun's eye, so, in this second chance, he switched from Fu Yun and changed his target, aiming to go after me, the fake heiress. But did he not consider that with Fu Huaishou, the legitimate male heir, in the family, I, as the fake heiress, have no chance of winning? I have the right to inherit now, purely because Grandpa and Sister used me as bait to lure him in, right? Thinking of this, I felt a little secret delight. Who is that person? Suddenly, Fu Yun looked at me. All 5 pairs of eyes in the family were fixed on me at once. I blinked, Looking utterly bewildered, the heirs suddenly fell silent, but I had something to say. So, telling me I have inheritance rights was just to lure him in. Once he's caught, can I focus on acting without having to compete anymore? No, my sister ruthlessly shattered my illusions. You do indeed have inheritance rights. What grandfather announced publicly, he won't go back on. It's a plan that kills two birds with one stone, isn't it? I was speechless, as expected. The true heiress just couldn't stand to see the fake heiress live a peaceful life. Woo-woo, just as I was wailing internally, the familiar chime of the favor competition system sounded again. New target, Chen Heshuan, Fu Yun's future marriage partner, a rising business star. Host, please strive to win his favor and gain a competitive advantage. I am speechless, shameless, who would want to throw themselves at that kind of trash, idiot. The daughters raised by the Fu family only know how to vie for favor. Who do you think you're looking down on? Damn it. How dare they arrange for my sister to marry a fool? I cursed that man and the lousy system 10,000 times in my heart, then threw myself at Fu Yun again. Sister, I must expose this. Chen Heshuan, the second son of the Chen family, is colluding with the system and plotting something sinister. The guest list for grandfather's birthday banquet included the Chen family, longtime friends of the Fu family. Unlike the Fu family's flourishing fortunes, the Chen family has been in steady decline over the years and now barely survives on orders from the Fu family. It is said that in order to preserve what little remains of the family business, the Chen family patriarch handed over the entire company to his eldest son, while the second son, Chen Heshuan, received only a house, a car, and 1 million in cash. To the average person, this would be a fortune, but for Chen Heshuan, accustomed to a life of luxury, it was unbearable. It was once said that Chen Heshuan harbored no resentment over this and appeared content with his lot. Only now has it become clear that what he truly coveted was the Fu family. Once the goal was set, Grandpa and sister moved with astonishing speed. On the very day I started filming my first scene in the new production, news broke. The Chen family was under investigation, and Chen Heshuan was implicated in multiple charges and had been taken in. Given their long-standing family friendship, Grandpa had originally not intended to drive the Chen family to ruin, but the Chen family, in their pursuit of wealth, crossed the line, and sister uncovered every last one of their dirty deeds. My sister had no qualms about family friends, ties. Once the evidence was gathered, she sent it straight up the chain. As for Chen Heshuan, investigating him was even easier. On the surface, he had no involvement in the family business, but behind the scenes, he used the Chen family's money and connections to run a club, dabbling in prostitution, gambling, and drugs. In the Chen family's list of crimes, he had made no small contribution. The mastermind behind it all fell just like that, leaving me in a daze, as if I had just woken from an absurd dream. But soon, I put the matter behind me and threw myself wholeheartedly into the film crew. Acting was initially just a fallback plan I had made for myself, but as I immersed myself in it, I fell in love with the feeling of living through someone else's joys and sorrows. After another 6 months of relentless hard work, just 1 week before Fu Yun was about to leave home to join the project, Fu Huaixiu and I were called back home for a performance review. We stood before Fu Yun like prisoners awaiting sentencing. 5 minutes felt as long as 5 years. Finally, Fu Yun set down the tablet in his hand, lifted his gaze, and his eyes first fell upon me. Fu Huixi, you win. I didn't rush over to hug her leg as I usually did. Instead, I walked up, linked my arm with hers, rested my head on her shoulder, and cried tears of joy. Sister, I knew it. You love me the most. My sister's body stiffened almost imperceptibly. What role is it this time? The fake heiress. A week later, our entire family stood at the entrance of the old house, watching Fu Yun get into the black car that had come to pick her up. Before the car door closed, she glanced back at us, her gaze sweeping over Grandpa, Mom, and Dad, Huaixiu, and finally settling on my face. The car drove away. After that, we would receive a phone call from her every 6 months. The call was brief, the content routine, first asking if everything was fine at home, second asking if there were any difficulties, third asking, usually, before the third question could even be asked, it would be drowned out by our eager chorus of "Everything's fine at home. We miss you. Take care of yourself." On the other end of the line, she was always quiet, just listening to us. occasionally responding with a soft, hum. A month after the 17th call, my sister walked into the living room carrying the same carry-on suitcase as before. She looked a bit thinner, but her eyes were bright. The whole family gathered around her, everyone talking at once. Grandpa didn't ask anything, just said it was good to have her back. Mom and Dad held her hands, asking how the food was over there and why she had lost so much weight. Why Shio waited a moment, then led his younger siblings and nephew forward to greet her. My sister, quite uncharacteristically, gave a faint smile. Finally, she looked at me. Why see, how have you been all these years? I'm doing well. In fact, I won the Best Actress award a few years ago, in one of the years after my sister left. My mind suddenly cleared. That absurd air competition back then wasn't just about selecting a successor. It was also a genuine reminder that I am a member of the Fu family. There's no need to be anxious, no need to feel guilty, no need to live in constant fear of being cast out one day. This is truly killing two birds with one stone for my sister. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. For the 99th time, the male lead, Guyi, chose his white moonlight. I said, "System, did you see that? Why must you tear them apart?" I said, "Don't you just want my life? I'll give it to you." I drank a bottle of rat poison and killed myself. 01. The system was shocked. "No way. Are you that ruthless to yourself?" The system frantically restarted, and I just gave up completely. Romancing the male lead. "No, if you force me, I'll hang myself right in front of you." Frame the female lead. "No, if you keep pushing me, I'll go jump into the sea right now." The system has crashed, it said. "Give me the rat poison. Don't you drink it. Give it to me. This is what I should drink." The system died after drinking rat poison. Waking up again, I found myself swapped bodies with the system. I was confused. The system was puzzled. I enthusiastically manipulated the system panel and selected a 1.9-meter tall domineering CEO as the system's target to pursue me. "Go and win him over, or I'll zap you." I gave the system a jolt with a 100,000-volt electric current. I urged, "Hurry up," the system screamed. "Why don't you take a look at who you chose?" I glanced at the system panel. The system shrieked hysterically. "You chose your foster brother Lu Sihan, the major villain in the book who almost killed the male and female leads. Are you trying to kill me?" 02. "What? My foster brother Lu Sihan is the villain? What's going on? Me? You never told me my foster brother is the big villain." The system guiltily replied, "Because that's not important. Your mission is to win over the male lead, not him." I laughed in exasperation. "Now your mission is to win him over." After swapping bodies with the system, the control panel developed a bug. "Only if my foster brother discovers that the system and I have switched bodies can we swap back, otherwise, the system and I will remain in this state until we die." The system, under my coercion, knocked on my foster brother's door. My foster brother, dressed in a robe, looked at me with a silent and indifferent gaze. "What is it?" My foster brother had long since severed ties with my family regarding the adoption. "Strictly speaking, he isn't my brother. I don't understand why he would be the villain who nearly killed the male and female leads." I had the system ask him if he knew Guyi. "Do you know Guyi?" Lu Sihan's face instantly turned cold. "No, I don't." He fell silent for a moment, then added, "But if I remember correctly, the person you like is named Guyi." "Still remember who I like? My foster brother is really such a good person." "Yes, it's him." I advised him, "If you ever run into him in the future, stay away from him and don't cause him any trouble. As a villain, it's easy to get killed by the male lead, so it's better to keep your distance." My foster brother lowered his gaze. "You came to find me just to say this, to tell me not to bother the person you like?" "Me? Of course not." I activated the electric shock system, making it repeat my words. "Actually, I don't like Guyi. It's you, my foster brother, that I like." While not causing trouble for Guyi is also important. 03. I thought my shocking words would make my foster brother realize I had been replaced, that I was no longer the original me inside this body, but to my surprise, my foster brother fell silent for a long time. Then he slammed the door shut. I frantically pounded on the door. "Brother, open up. I'm your sister-in-law." My foster brother opened the door and said to me, "Are you trying to destroy this family?" I replied seriously, "No, I want to create a new family with you." Without another word, my foster brother sent me to a mental hospital for a brain check. At the mental hospital, I ran into the male lead. Guyi, he's sick, he has mania, and only the female lead can soothe him. Each dog has its own leash, and the female lead just happens to be the rope that ties the male lead. System, maybe I should go and win him over for you. I struck the system with the force of thunder. Don't provoke the male lead, and don't even think about breaking up the main couple. If this kind of lunatic were to enter society, the harm would be immense. The greatness of the female lead taming the dog needs no further explanation, the system sobbed. But if you don't win over the male lead, you'll die in 3 months. The countdown to death for the main quest of winning over Guyi has only 3 months left. Although I swapped bodies with the system, the deadly mission to win over Guyi still remains. I simply gave up struggling. If I die, so be it. The sooner I die, the sooner I can be reborn, and I might even get a head start on earning favor with the king of hell. The system wailed, but I don't want to die yet. The system plans to use my body to win over Guyi. 04. How could I allow the system to tear apart the male and female leads? Every time the system says a word, I give it an electric shock. System, Guyi, bro, what, a coincidence. Guyi glanced at it. What, did someone poison your throat and make you stutter? The system wept with joy, saying to me, he still cares about you. You're in his heart, me, Gu. Yi sneered and spoke the next sentence. If your mouth can't speak properly, you might as well have your vocal cords cut. If you bother me again, I'll have someone cut your vocal cords. System, me, see, outlaw Guyi. I told you not to provoke him. The system wouldn't give up, so I had to shock it with a thunderous jolt of electricity. Behave. Stop trying to break up the main couple every single day. System, wah wah wah. When my foster brother came over with the medical report, he happened to see the system crying from my electric shock. He glanced at Guyi beside him, paused for a moment, and said, did he bully you? Oh no, how did my foster brother run into Guyi? I can't let him hold a grudge against Guyi. I gave the system an electric shock, forcing it to explain. The system sobbed as it explained, no, I was just so happy to see brother Guyi. That's why. My foster brother's expression darkened, and he silently crumpled the examination slip in his hand. The system tried to send my foster brother away, stubbornly clinging to the male lead in an attempt to win him over. Guyi grew annoyed, his face turning cold as he said, you're not Yu Ling, are you? If I'm not mistaken, you are the system. I froze. Wait, how does the male lead know about the system's existence, and how does he know that I swapped with the system? 05. The system's body trembled. How did you know? Aren't you tired of this? You've already pestered me and restarted 100 times. What more do you want? I said I could never like Yu Ling in this lifetime. Guyi snapped irritably. I don't get why you keep wasting your time on me, and restarting over and over. Once wasn't enough, you had to restart 100 times. Are you out of your mind? The system replied, yes, I'm out of my mind. I've got a sickness that'll kill me without you. Guyi yelled at it. If you're sick, go get treated. I'm not a doctor. Guyi slapped the psychiatric hospital director's business card in front of the system with a smack. The system tore the card to shreds with a rip, and roared at him. They can't cure me. Only you are my medicine. Guyi was fed up. He wanted to drive his car and run the system over. Enough. Talking to you is driving me insane. Go die. Guyi drove the car straight at the system. I was stunned. What? No, bro, you're hitting my body. At the critical moment, someone stepped in front of the system to shield it. A handsome, androgynous girl in a taekwondo uniform leaped through the air, shattering the car window with a kick, and sent Guyi flying with a stylish flourish. In one fluid motion, she turned and shielded me behind her. Ding, the female lead, Tang Xiaoqiao, has appeared. Framing the female lead will grant progress points for the conquest route. It's the female lead, Tang Xiaoqiao. Tang Xiaoqiao asked the system, are you alright? The system shook its head. Tang Xiaoqiao went over, pulled Guyi up from the ground, and punched him squarely in the face. Guyi's mouth bled from her blow. Both the system and I were stunned by the female lead's ferocity. 06. Tang Xiaoqiao frowned and said to him, Guyi, didn't you promise me you wouldn't hurt anyone? She continued, what do you mean by this? Do you want to kill someone and go to jail? Guyi turned his head away, chastised by her words. I just don't like her. Tang Xiaoqiao interrupted him. saying seriously, "Did you forget to take your medicine?" Guyi pursed his lips and let out a soft, Guyi had a manic disorder and had just been triggered into an episode by the system. Without another word, Tang Xiaochao kicked Guyi into the psychiatric hospital for treatment. She said, "If you're sick, don't wander around outside, go take your medicine." After dealing with Guyi, Tang Xiaochao carefully checked the system from top to bottom. Only after confirming everything was fine did she finally let out a sigh of relief. She said, "Here are Guye's ID number, driver's license number, and his phone number. You can call the traffic police to report him. It's wrong for him to drive and hurt someone, no matter what." Behind Tang Xiaochao, a heavy-duty truck was speeding toward her. "The system suddenly said to me, framing the female lead can earn you strategy points. If I just push her over and make her crash into the car, can the strategy progress? I think the system has gone mad. Are you insane? You want to kill the female lead? That large truck is speeding toward us." A cold, malicious expression appears on the system's face. Killing or severely injuring the female lead can both increase the strategy progress. It grabbed the female lead's hand, trying to push her toward the truck. I shouted, "Stop!" Electric sparks crackled in my hand as I unleashed a fierce barrage of shocks at the system. "Damn system! Who allowed you to harm the female lead? Die!" I roar. "Shatter the darkness with the power of thunder." The system, The system is directly electrocuted unconscious by me. 07. The large truck brushes past Tang Xiaochao, but she is unharmed. The system fainted in her arms. I was taken back home by my foster brother. Lu Sihan brought leg irons and locked me to the bed. I stood by, dumbfounded, watching Lu Sihan's actions. Shocked, utterly shocked. "No, bro, what are you trying to do? Why do you still have shackles on your feet? What do you want to do to me?" In my agitation, I cranked up the voltage and shocked the system awake. The system, jolted awake by the shock, stared blankly at the shackles on its ankles. What is this?" Lu Sihan sat by the bedside, gripping the system's hand, his voice hoarse as he questioned it. "Didn't you say you liked me? Why were you so happy to see that man named Guyi? Holy crap, damn system, get out of my body and let me step in to act for a couple of episodes. Why can't I be the protagonist in such an exciting plot?" I roared into the system's ear. Lu Sihan's words instantly turned the system, that artificial idiot, into a level 10 moron. The system stammered, Lu Sihan looked at it and suddenly realized something. He leaned in, pinning the system down on the bed, frowning as he said, "You're not Yu Ling. Who are you? Tell me, where is Yu Ling? My foster brother has discovered that I swapped bodies with the system." I felt the restraints holding me loosen slightly, and the expression on the system's face also seemed pained. The next second, I returned to my own body. The system was kicked out of my body and the system and I swapped back. 08. I stared blankly at my adoptive brother, who was pinning me down on the bed. "Brother Sihan." Lu Sihan was taken aback, his eyelashes fluttering slightly as he spoke. He met my eyes, paused for a moment, then flusteredly looked away. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry." "What mistake?" I haven't even finished asking, and the next second, I swapped back with the system again. "What, bro? You didn't get it wrong. At least stand your ground." And just like that, I got a 30-second body experience card, but before I could fully savor it, I was kicked out of my own body. Lu Sihan unlocked the shackles on my feet, stood up, and left the room. I misunderstood. My apologies. "No, bro, don't go." After the system was once again sealed within my body, it fell silent. It walked over to Lu Sihan's desk, rummaged through the drawers, and found a sealed document. "System, I remember the male lead, Guyi, is competing with your foster brother for the same project. As long as you hand this document over to Guyi, the progress of the strategy will be more than halfway complete." "Wait," I shouted, "I disagree. My foster brother's money is my money. I can't just hand over the project to someone else. I can't do it. I can't." The system was exasperated. "Don't you want to live anymore? You only have 3 months left. If you fail the mission, you'll die." I rolled my eyes. "I've already failed 99 times in my attempts, and I'm still alive, aren't I? I can't bear to hand over my foster brother's project to Guyi." The system sneered, driven to reckless words by its anger at me. "Do you know why you didn't die when your mission failed? Because someone paid the price for you." "Me? What? who paid the price for me, you need to explain this clearly. My Thunder Lord's power has returned. 09 I fiercely electrocuted the system, subjecting it to severe torture to extract a confession. Speak, who paid the price for me? Why have I been restarting over and over without dying? The system played dumb at first, but later couldn't stand my harsh interrogation and confessed outright, do you think restarting comes without a price? It told me, it was your foster brother who paid the death toll for you. Every time you fail a conquest and restart, he dies once. He's trading his life for your restarts. My heart was pierced with a sharp pain. The system trembled from my electric shock, its arm sweeping a black diary off Lu Sihan's desk. The diary lay open before me, the wind flipping its pages with a rustle. Within its filled pages, I saw my own name written over and over again. Yu Ling, Yu Ling, Yu Ling. My heart trembled. Why did my foster brother pay the price of death for me? He clearly didn't know about your existence. How did he manage to do it? I murmured in a daze. The system gritted its teeth and told me, your foster brother is the villain. His life is worth as much as the male lead's. Using his life can buy you a restart. Every time you fail a mission, I secretly go to your foster brother behind your back and ask if he's willing to trade his life for your restart. The system said, every single time. He agreed. I felt an endless despair and a deep malice from the system. 10. Why does my situation have to involve my foster brother? If the mission fails, just let me die, I said despairingly and painfully. The system said, you want to die, but I don't. We are one. If the mission fails, I will die with you, but I don't want to die. So the system would repeatedly restart using Lu Sihan's life. I have never hated the system as much as I do now. I wish I could drag it to death with me. I wrestled control of my own body, using a powerful electric current to force the system toward the window. I said, I can't accept how you're using my foster brother. It's not enough that you've ruined me. Now you have to ruin him too. You're right. If the mission fails, we'll die together. But now, there's no need to wait for the strategy to fail. I'll just drag you to death with me right now. The system stood by the window, trapped inside my body, trembling as it shouted, what are you trying to do? I smiled at it and said, of course, we're going to die together. I used an electric current to shock the system and fell from the building with it. The system screamed, no, don't. As I fell from the building with the system, I heard my adoptive brother's voice, Yu Ling. I saw my foster brother rush over, kneeling by the window, desperately grabbing my wrist. Using his arm's strength to stop my falling body, he cried out anxiously, don't do anything foolish. I used an electric current to shock his hand, causing the system to plummet straight down. Yu Ling, my foster brother shouted. I closed my eyes. 11. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. I was still saved by my foster brother. Although I was injured, my body didn't die. I don't know why, but I've returned to my own body again. The system has also briefly fallen dormant in my mind. My adoptive brother said to me, Yu Ling, don't do anything foolish. I was wrong to lock you in the room before. I know you wanted to give that project to Gu Yi, the document you found in my room. I already gave it to him before you woke up. Don't do anything foolish. I can promise you anything else, no matter what you want. Lu Sihan spoke to me with a weary voice. I thought of the document the system had retrieved from Lu Sihan's room before I fell. I knew he had misunderstood. He thought I wanted that document. I opened my mouth to explain. I didn't want that document, nor did I intend to give it to Gu Yi. You've misunderstood, I said to him. Brother Sihan, find some time to get it back from Gu Yi. Lu Sihan fell silent for a long while before replying hoarsely, all right. I looked up at him and said, can you promise me one more thing? Lu Sihan, go ahead. I looked at him. If one day, something called a system asks you to trade your life for mine, you must not agree to it. Lu Sihan remained silent for an even longer time. Just when I thought he had already silently agreed in his heart, he suddenly spoke up. If my life can be used to exchange for yours, then no matter what it is, I will agree, he said. I am willing to trade my life for you. 12. I froze. I thought of how the system had deceived him into giving up his life, trading his existence for my repeated restarts, and my eyes instantly welled up with tears. You must not agree. My eyes reddened. Brother Sihan, you must not agree to it, I said. Lu Sihan, I'm begging you. Lu Sihan remained silent for a long time, not agreeing. Stimulated, I picked up the fruit knife beside the hospital bed and pointed it at myself. If you don't agree, I'll die right here. Lu Sihan's hand trembled as he grasped mine. Yu Ling, don't be impulsive. Me, I want you to promise me. Lu Sihan's breathing grew erratic as he hurriedly said, I promise you. I put down the knife and embraced him. Thank you, Lu Sihan. Lu Sihan went to get my medicine from the doctor. I pulled out the 4-needle and, leaning against the wall, made my way step by step to the rooftop terrace of the hospital. I stood on the rooftop, the wind lifting my hair. I didn't know when the system would wake up, but I wanted to end it all, before I fell. My mind thought of Lu Sihan. I hope he won't be foolish enough to trade his life for my restart again. I'm tired, I don't want to start over anymore. The sound of falling echoed in my ears as the system awoke to see me plummeting, its voice sharp as it screamed at me, are you insane? Why would you kill yourself? Isn't living better? I whispered softly, System, I'm tired, I don't want to live anymore, I'm taking you with me to die, give up, this time, you won't have another chance to restart. My falling body was intercepted mid-air. It's the female lead, Tang Xiaoqiao. She leaped into the air to catch me, holding me with one arm while clinging to the wall. The female lead cried out anxiously, Yu Ling, don't seek death, I've caught you, don't die. However, the moment the female lead caught me, I swapped with the system once again, and now it is the system that resides in my body. 13. The system looked at Tang Xiaoqiao with malice in its eyes. The system said to me, as long as I push her down from here, to outsiders, it will look like she failed to save someone and fell on her own. No one will know how she died. I was frightened by the system's viciousness and urgently said, don't you dare harm her. I wanted to use the electric shock system, but found I had lost control over it. I couldn't use the punishment methods and had no way to coerce it. The system curled its lips into a cold smile. You're too weak. You've given up on yourself twice by attempting suicide. Now, whether it's your body or the system panel, you can no longer control either. It said, kill the female lead. Once the male lead loses her, he'll eventually be successfully conquered, as long as the female lead dies. This conquest will succeed with ease. I trembled as I said, Guyi cannot be successfully conquered, neither you nor I can ever succeed in conquering him. If you kill the female lead, the male lead will hold a grudge against you, and the conquest will still fail. The system scoffed, as long as he doesn't know that I killed the female lead, it'll be fine, I shouted, even if he doesn't know you killed the female lead. If she dies saving you, he will never forgive you or fall in love with you. The system's eyes flashed, its gaze cold, but the hand it had extended slowly withdrew. It said, you're right, killing the female lead isn't for now. I still have a better opportunity. Madness. The system had gone completely mad. It wanted to kill the female lead to complete the conquest progress. The system and the female lead successfully descended from the wall, and the system did not take the opportunity to harm her, but it never gave up on the idea of killing the female lead. I felt despair. 14. The system took advantage of Tang Xiaoqiao's kindness and lured her to a remote place. Many black-clad figures appeared around, and they knocked Tang Xiaoqiao unconscious and tied her up. After sending the message to Guyi, the system said to me, I want Guyi to witness the female lead die right before his eyes, to make his heart die. I cursed at it. You're insane. A man with a dead white moonlight in his heart is the most unattainable. I have to find a way to stop the system, otherwise the female lead will really be killed by it. After receiving the message sent by the system, Guyi quickly rushed alone to the abandoned warehouse. The system hid in the background, coldly watching Guyi enter the warehouse. I saw him coming alone to play the hero and rescue the beauty, and I couldn't help but complain in my heart, what an idiot. If they told you to come alone, you really came alone. Couldn't you have brought more people? There's strength in numbers. Guyi said to the kidnappers with a dark expression, let her go, and I'll let you do whatever you want with me. The kidnappers let out a sinister, cackling laugh. 10 million, and we'll let her go. Guyi kicked a suitcase toward the kidnappers. There's 1 million in there, I'll have someone bring the rest. The kidnapper reneged on the deal, saying, I've taken the money, but sorry, I'm not letting the person go. The kidnapper's steel pipe swung straight toward the female lead's head. At the critical moment, I finally regained control of my body, rushed over, and threw myself on the female lead, taking the heavy blow from the steel pipe that left my head bleeding. Gathering my last ounce of strength, I said to the kidnapper, I've already transferred the money to you, and I've called the police. They'll be here soon. If you leave now, there's still time. The kidnapper cursed a few obscenities and struck me on the head with another steel pipe. My vision blurred. I could feel myself bleeding out, about to die. Maybe it's better to die. At least I won't drag anyone else down anymore. I collapsed onto the female lead and closed my eyes. I felt the system take over my body again, and this time, I had no way to take it back. Before my consciousness faded, I asked the system the deepest, most hidden question in my heart. Why is my foster brother the villain? What exactly did he do to harm the male and female leads? The system sneered. According to the original plot, after you fail to win over Guyi and die, your adoptive brother can't accept your death. He seeks revenge on the male lead, wanting to kill him to accompany you in death. A tragic love sacrifice. But his plan didn't succeed. He didn't kill the male lead, and in the end, he committed suicide before your grave, dying for love. It mocked me. No matter what you do, you can't change the fact that your foster brother will die. My consciousness completely dissipated. 15. I don't know how much time has passed. My mind was hazy and muddled. Countless fragments of memories flashed through my mind. Some belonged to Tang Xiaoqiao, some to Guyi, some to the system, and some to Lu Sihan. I heard many voices, all of which seemed to be coming from the system. Send the female lead abroad and forge her death certificate. That way, you won't have to kill her. Killing the male lead will cause the mission to fail directly. I can't kill him outright. I need to make him a vegetable, lose all consciousness, disguise myself as the female lead, make Guyi, who lost his sight in the car accident, mistake my identity. Then, after the mission succeeds, let him fall into a vegetative state. The system's voice is annoying. I don't know what it's saying, nor do I know how long I've been asleep. I only heard its final scream. The successful conquest was fake. It was fake. Why was it fake? When I woke up again, it was already 10 years later. I found that my hair had grown longer, and the calendar hanging on the wall showed that it was now 10 years later. 10 years. I have been asleep for 10 years. The system vanished, leaving behind a trembling sentence on a blank sheet of paper. The successful conquest is a lie. The successful conquest is a lie. But why am I still alive? If the successful conquest was fake, shouldn't I have died 10 years ago? What exactly happened over these past 10 years? 16. I found myself waking up in a psychiatric hospital. The one who locked me in here is my adoptive brother, Lu Sihan. And Guyi, turned into a vegetative state by the system, became my legally paralyzed vegetative husband. I said to the attending doctor, I want to see my adoptive brother. The black-clad bodyguard standing beside the doctor said, Miss you, Mr. Lu won't see you, he said, unless you're cured. No matter how much you beg to see him, it's useless. I said to him, then tell him that I've recovered from my illness. The bodyguard replied, no one will believe the same lie, no matter how many times it's repeated. I nodded and said, then tell Lu Sihan to come see me, otherwise, I'll kill myself right here and have someone send him the death footage. My foster brother would never stand by and watch me die here. The bodyguard relayed my words to Lu Sihan. After that, Lu Sihan finally agreed to come see me. 10 years later, I saw Lu Sihan for the first time. He had matured a lot compared to a decade ago. His stern brows and eyes filled with exhaustion. He didn't even glance at me, just said coldly, speak, what is it? I sift through my memories. Over the past 10 years, my foster brother discovered that the system had taken over my body and imprisoned it in a mental institution, tormenting it for a full decade. I think the system vanished because it was driven to a mental breakdown by my foster brother's torture. Seeing my prolonged silence, Lu Sihan spoke up, what exactly do you want? If there's nothing, then stop wasting my time. He looked up at me, and with just that one glance, he was suddenly at a loss for words. I knew he recognized me. I smiled at him and said, Brother Sihan, it's been a long time. I paused for a moment, thinking of the 10 years that had passed, and added, it seems, it really has been a long time. With a bright smile, I said to him, you promised me you wouldn't make a deal with the system, and you kept your word. Lu Sihan's body trembled. This time, there was no restart. My stagnant time finally moved forward. I said to Lu Sihan, thank you. Lu Sihan stumbled over and embraced me. Yu Ling, it's you, he said hoarsely, you're back. Yu Ling, he held me in his arms, and I blinked my sore eyes, whispering softly, "Yes, I'm back, Lu Sihan." "That's wonderful." Lu Sihan's voice was raspy. "I thought I would never see you again." "I thought so too," I said to him. "Lu Sihan, I want to meet Guyi." 17. Too many things have happened over these 10 years. After I was knocked unconscious by the kidnapper's steel pipe, the system took control of my body. She paid extra to have the kidnappers smash Gu Ye's head until he lost his memory, then sent the female lead abroad, pretending to be Gu Ye's savior. Afterwards, when Gu Ye was about to regain his memory, I arranged for him to be in a car accident that left him blind, and I pretended to be the female lead to take care of him. After successfully obtaining the marriage certificate with Gu Ye, the system orchestrated another car accident, leaving Gu Ye paralyzed and in a vegetative state, freezing the progress of the mission at 100%. The mission was a success, and my body managed to survive, but the system also became trapped within my body. My foster brother sensed something was wrong. As a staunch materialist, the system shattered his long-held materialist worldview. He discovered the existence of the system and noticed my disappearance. He confined the system in a mental hospital, studying it under the guise of treatment, trying to bring me back. After repeated failures, the system vanished, and I returned, a full decade having passed in the meantime, and Guyi had been bedridden, paralyzed. For nearly 10 years, I saw the comatose, paralyzed Guyi in a VIP hospital bed. His appearance hadn't changed much from 10 years ago as he lay unconscious. Lu Sihan handed me the divorce certificate and told me, "Not long after Guyi became a vegetable, I helped you file for divorce. You and Guyi are no longer married." I whispered, "Thank you." Then I asked him, "Where's Tang Xiaoqiao?" Lu Sihan fell silent for a moment. "She, 18. I anxiously grabbed Lu Sihan and pressed, "What happened to her?" The system's memory has no fragments about Tang Xiaoqiao after she went abroad. I don't know how the female lead fared after going overseas. I don't want the female lead to meet with misfortune because of me, because of the system. Lu Sihan sighed and said, "She lost her memory. It seems she lost it before going abroad. She doesn't remember Guyi anymore. Lost her memory." I never expected the system, in order to prevent the female lead from returning to the male lead, would actually make her lose her memory too, and just like that, the male and female leads were torn apart by the system. I glanced at the male lead, Guyi, lying in the hospital bed. All of this was created by me and the system. I whispered softly, "I will go and bring her back. I will restore the original ending for the male and female leads." After making up my mind, I asked Lu Sihan, "Is there any chance Guyi might wake up?" Lu Sihan replied, "I don't know. He hasn't woken up in these 10 years, he said, but perhaps if he sees the person he wants to see, he might wake up." I went abroad to see Tang Xiaoqiao. When I saw her, she was playing in the snow in Switzerland, building a snowman. "You mean Guyi?" "Actually, I regained my memory 5 years ago. I didn't go back to see him because I felt we were no longer suitable for each other." Tang Xiaoqiao's tone was one of relief. "Back then, I heard that Guyi had become a vegetable, and that he had married and divorced you. I never expected the female lead to have regained her memories as early as 5 years ago. She hadn't returned all this time because of what the system had done to Guyi." I anxiously explained, telling her that Guyi had married and divorced my body because of the system's design, and it was also because of the system that he had become a vegetable. "The system has already disappeared, and I can tell the female lead all about those things. I was previously controlled by the system, which took over my body. It used my body to blind Guyi, disguised itself as you, obtained a marriage certificate with Guyi, and then orchestrated a car accident that left Guyi in a vegetative state." I bowed and apologized to Tang Xiaoqiao. "I'm sorry, all of this started because of me. It's all my fault, and I will do my best to make it up to you." It took Tang Xiaoqiao a long time to process what I had said. The system, the body takeover, the white moonlight substitute, the car accident. She hugged me and said, "None of this is your fault. You're a victim too, so don't blame yourself. If you still feel uneasy, I can go back with you to see Guyi," she said self-deprecatingly. "Actually, we ended things a long time ago. I've long since let go. We weren't right for each other. It wasn't because of you." The female lead's embrace was warm and strong. I leaned on her shoulder, crying as I spoke to her, "I'm sorry." 19. The female lead went back with me to see Guyi, who had become a vegetative patient. She sat by the hospital bed for a long time. When I went over to check on her, I saw her face covered in tear stains. She whispered to me, "I thought I had already forgotten, but after all these years, it seems I still like him." For me, it was a decade of slumber, but for the male and female leads, it was a solid, tangible 10 years. She leaned over the hospital bed, crying as she said to Guyi, "I'm sorry, Guyi, I came too late." My heart instantly ached with sorrow. If it weren't for me, the male and female leads wouldn't have missed out on all these years. I feel sorry for them, I asked Lu Sihan. Does Guyi really have no chance of waking up? Lu Sihan patted my head. The attending doctor said his condition is improving. I've hired the best medical team from abroad to treat him. He'll wake up soon. It's good that Guyi can wake up. On the way back, I asked Lu Sihan, "Have you missed me a lot over the past 10 years? Lu Sihan didn't deny it. He let out a low in response. I said, "Lu Sihan, I miss you too." Lu Sihan held me in his arms without saying a word. Guyi woke up in the second week after Tang Xiaoqiao returned to the country, but he didn't remember Tang Xiaoqiao. I can't bear to see the male and female leads waste any more time on each other. They've already missed out on too much. Is there any way to help Guyi regain his memory? Lu Sihan shook his head. Not for now. However, Guyi soon regained his memory anyway, because Guyi fell in love with Tang Xiaoqiao all over again when he lost his memory. He couldn't bear the thought of losing the memories they had shared. He actively cooperated with the treatment and soon regained his memory, recovering all those lost recollections. He and Tang Xiaoqiao got back together. After Guyi and Tang Xiaoqiao got married, Lu Sihan asked me, "They're already together. Can we also?" I timidly whispered, "I feel sorry for them. I don't dare to live too happily." I looked up at Lu Sihan and said, "Actually, the person I feel most sorry for is you. You've done so much for me, yet it took me so long to realize it." Lu Sihan hugged me and said softly, "It's okay, as long as you're alive. Being able to see you every day is already more than enough." I thought to myself, just wait a little longer, wait a bit more. After the male and female leads find their happiness, then Lu Sihan and I can be together. After all, our lives are so long. I won't make him wait too long, but I never expected that I wouldn't have that much time left. 20. My organs began to fail within just half a month. I was sent to the intensive care unit. The system appeared once again. The successful conquest was fake. The bug I exploited didn't work. The male lead, Guyi, has always loved the female lead, Tang Xiaoqiao, from the beginning to the end. I previously used the female lead's identity to trick him into getting a marriage certificate while he was blind, which temporarily made the conquest task succeed. But now, this bug has been discovered. Mission failed. You are about to die. I know the mission has gone wrong, and now I am paying the price for its failure. The system says to me, "Try one more time. The last time, it will definitely succeed." It looks at Lu Sihan by the hospital bed. "Your foster brother will agree to pay the price for this failure on your behalf." Lu Sihan held my withered hand. He could hear what the system was saying, and he softly responded with an "No." I refused. I won't restart again. Lu Sihan could no longer die in my place, nor can I torment the male and female leads anymore. The system said, "As long as your foster brother agrees, there's a chance to restart." Lu Sihan remained silent. I said to him, "Don't restart again, Lu Sihan. Promise me, don't restart anymore." "Okay." I feel my tears falling. Lu Sihan remained silent for a long time, and I heard him make a very soft sound. "Not good, me. I knew you would agree to me." Lu Sihan fell silent for an even longer time. He held me in his arms, and after a long while, he finally spoke. "All right." I hugged him back, tears streaming down my face as I said, "I'm sorry. If I had known I was running out of time, I would have cherished every moment with you. If only there were no system, no quests to complete." I cried out, "Lu Sihan, I like you. I really, really like you." Lu Sihan said hoarsely, "I love you too." He said, "It's okay, as long as you like me." The 101st attempt at conquest failed. I died. The system vanished as well. Extra, Lu Sihan's diary, XX year, XX month, XX day. The family that adopted me has a younger sister 2 years my junior. People around say I am her child groom. Yu Ling slapped that person's teeth flying. XX year, XX month, XX day during PE class. Yu Ling said she had a stomachache, so I took her to the infirmary. I looked up information online and learned what a menstrual period is. I took a leave for her, bought sanitary pads and ibuprofen painkillers, had her take the medicine, and carried her home to rest. Yu Ling said that in the future, she must find a boyfriend like me. She already has a child groom. What else is she looking for in a boyfriend? XX year XX month XX day. Yu Ling said there's a guy named Guyi at the neighboring school who's really handsome. I went to see him. Not handsome. I'll have my parents take Yu Ling to the ophthalmologist to get her eyes checked. XX/XX/XX. Yu Ling has been acting strange lately. She's fallen for that guy named Guyi. I've terminated the adoption relationship with the family that took me in. XX/XX. Yu Ling is dead. Thing called a system found me, offering me a chance to trade my life for Yu Ling's survival. I agreed. XX/XX/XXXXX. Yu Ling said she likes me, not Guyi. It seems my parents have finally cured her brain and eyes, but to make sure her mind hasn't gone bad again, it's best to take her to the hospital for another checkup. I ran into Guyi at the hospital. What a jinx, I should have cleared the place out beforehand. Maybe we should just have security escort him out. Are you that happy to see Guyi? So happy you're crying. Great, I'm not happy. XX year XX month XX day. I locked Yu Ling in my own room, but I never expected her to risk her life and jump off the building for Guyi. It was just an unimportant document. If she wanted to give it to him, I wouldn't have refused. XX year XX month XX day. Yu Ling is missing. That thing called the system has taken over her body. I must bring her back. XX year XX month XX day. Yu Ling has returned. This time, she probably won't leave again. XX year XX month XX day. Yu Ling wouldn't let me make a deal with the system. She died in my arms. It's fine. I will accompany her. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time. 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 Next time.